What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams with The Distance, here with another video today. And actually it's a video pretty much talking about a couple big withdrawals in fights. A couple fights I was actually looking forward to. One of these fights being Jesse Brinkley versus Sakio Bika. That fight, was canceled. It was supposed to be on May 28th on the Librado Andrade Eric Lucas undercard. It was like an IBF title eliminator. I guess the winner was going to get this shot at Lucian Butte possibly, later on this year. Bika getting another shot at Butte, and Brinkley finally getting a shot at a championship at pretty much a major organization belt. And I was really looking forward to this because Jesse Brinkley, to me, pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the year over Curtis Stevens. And me myself, I didn't do a prediction of that fight. I'm glad I didn't, because I definitely counted Jesse Brinkley out. When a lot of people asked me about the fight, Jesse Brinkley came on and had a really impressive showing against Curtis Showtime Stevens. And now it said he was sick, and he wasn't able to train for the fight. So now Sakio Bika is left without an opponent. The fight is canceled. And at the same time, Sakio Bika had pulled out of the Alan Green fight, which pretty much was for the spot in the Super 6 against Andre Ward, and pulled out of that fight. I believe it was money issues. I'm not sure what it was. I never necessarily read the article all the way. Now, I take that back. I did read the article, but it was a while ago, probably back in January, so I don't remember it that much. But Sakio Bika pulled out of that fight, which led to Alan Green going to the Super 6. And the super middleweight division, just like the other division I'm about to talk about, is very intriguing. A lot of talent in that division. And this overall was a really good fight, if you ask me, because you have to wonder, was Jesse Brinkley just a one-trick pony? Was that just his fight, or was, because Curtis Showtime Stevens, was a highly acclaimed amateur, I believe from New York. So highly acclaimed amateur. A lot of eyes were on him. Lost to Andre Durrell, but was pretty much on his way to coming back, and a lot of people counting Jesse Brinkley out due to the fact that he was from the Contender, and we know the track record with fighters from the Contender. And Jesse Brinkley came in and basically outboxed Curtis Stevens in that fight, pretty much outboxed and pretty much was outtrained, or pretty much outtrained his corner. So overall, I am bummed that this fight was canceled. The other fight that I'm definitely bummed that was canceled was Maidana versus Bradley. That was a really good fight. That overall was a really good fight, and I'm really wondering who they put in the place of Marcos Maidana for July 17th. Originally it was supposed to be on June, possibly I believe it was June 19th or June 26th, and it was pushed back because Maidana had a back injury, and Timothy Bradley, so now he pulled out, and now Timothy Bradley is looking for a new opponent. My suggestion, we all want to see Devin Alexander versus Timothy Bradley, big unification bout. This fight brings about 3 different light welterweight championship belts. But I think the problem is, where is the fight going to be held if it was to happen, if it was to come off? We know that Devin Alexander has quite the following in St. Louis, and Timothy Bradley seems to have a following out in Rancho Cucamonga, California. So, right there, that would be a huge conflict of where the fight would be held. But Timothy Bradley, I don't think he would have a problem fighting in another territory, but at the same time, it's Devin Alexander's territory. If they could, meet, halfway or meet somewhere else, say like a Texas or a Detroit or New York, wherever, then, or you can even go as far as say Florida would be a good place for a fight like this. If they could sell tickets and stuff, if they promote the fight right, if they can get put together a really good undercard, I think it could do very well in Florida. That's just my opinion, but I do think that with Marcus Maidana pulling out, his next opponent should be Devin Alexander. And one because Devin Alexander holds 2 championship belts, 2 because he's coming off of a big win, and 3, you know, 3 in my perspective, they're the 2 top fighters at 140 pounds, and you can possibly put Amir Khan, you know, up on that list. You know, you could, you know, interchange them around of, you know, who the top 3 are, because we know the top 3 are Timothy Bradley, Amir Khan, and Devin Alexander, the top 3. And 2 of the top 3, you know, I guess should face each other. And I think that, and me myself, I do believe that Timothy Bradley is the #1 light welterweight in the world. And as well, I think Devin Alexander is #2. He holds, you know, most of the belts. Had a knockout victory over Juan Urango. Somebody who's tough, somebody that, you know, Ricky Hatton couldn't even take him out, who's the last person that defeated him. And it was an impressive victory, and it was on HBO, and the world saw it. So overall, I think that that's the fight that needs to happen for Timothy Bradley and for the light welterweight division, because when that fight happens, then we're going to get a clear picture of who overall is the #1 light welterweight in the world, because, you know, now the best are fighting each other. And me, I'm a firm believer in the best has to fight the best to be the best. And Timothy Bradley, I'm going to say he is #1. You know, he unified against Kendall Holt, who was the top 10 light welterweight, defeated Junior Witter, who was the top 10 light welterweight in 2008. You know, and now, you know, Devin Alexander is in that top 5 area, top 3 caliber. So I do believe that's the fight that should happen. You know, Timothy Bradley fought as mandatory in December. Devin Alexander just unified. So it's the fight that makes sense right now for the light welterweight division for both fighters. Devin Alexander really wants to fight. Now let's see if Gary Shaw and Timothy Bradley could come together and make this fight happen. You know, I think, and I know you guys on YouTube, I know you guys that watch want this fight to happen as well. So, and me myself, I definitely want the fight to happen. But anyway, we'll see in a matter of days what route Gary Shaw and Timothy Bradley go. Hopefully it's against Devin Alexander. Hopefully, you know, Shaw and King Promotions, you know, could come together, put this fight together, put together a pretty good undercard, and, you know, and pretty much have, you know, a big light welterweight showdown, unification, one that comes out with 3 belts. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on the recent withdrawals. Brinkley versus Bika canceled. Maidana pulls out of the Bradley fight. And me, I really don't like making videos on 2 people at one time, but anyway, that's how it is, because I didn't have much to say about Brinkley Bika. But anyway, that was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.